if their game isn't fun, they need to fix it and not just, well, we'll coast until it's even worse.
But Helldivers is reaching right now on viability. Yeah, the more janky.
Yeah, that multi-rocket is. The rockets, not the fish?
Get rock. And a beard hat.
That. Oh! Does that mean reset string? I gotta like relearn how to fucking forecast and just forecast instant. No, on my radio. I just gotta get. I sure as heck did. Oh my god, not this shit again. That laser shot for me. My armor's. Rock. Can you fucking not though?
Yes. This is where the DPS check happens. We don't know until we try. I believe in you.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you believe in me?
Cook now. I believe in you. I don't believe in myself.
Believe in the me that believes in me. I don't have a news card. Yeah? Which cards you use? Got him.
Saw the new character for Lanes. But Gant.
Yep. Not excited for that, really. Gambit's cool. But new Borderlands character being card based is kind of meh.
You ever play the pre
No.
Claptrap? Entertain.
Hell, playing Monster Hunter?
では前に出ます。
Hello, chat. Hope everyone's doing good today. Just got the go live tweet out. Do me the favor. Go give it some love. Grab you guys today's sauce. Okay. I think we're ready. I see Aurelia is still missing. Hello, everybody. Here is today's artwork. Do me a favor, go give the artist some love. You guys know the drill by now. Sorry about that. Pull that up. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, can we get Aurelia to actually like reset there? She danced away. She does. Been playing the new Digimon games. Great so far. Yeah, I'm making, again, I have not heard anybody say anything bad about that game, so I have to assume that it is really good. Actually, I feel like my camera like messed up. I feel like I'm really like pale. Hold on. It did, in fact, reset. I don't remember this computer resetting on... Oh, no, it did. It blue screened. I forgot about that. For some odd reason, like, I let my computer go to sleep, and sometimes lately when it wakes up, like when I like jiggle the mouse or something, it literally just blue screens right then. So it's been like really weird. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Again, hello everyone. Hope everyone is doing good today. Hello CZ. Hello Age. J, AFK. And I think that's all we have today. Everybody's taking the night off, I see. People have been slow getting to stream lately, and to a degree, I don't blame you guys. I've been a little bit late lately. It is definitely on my end for that, so I have to apologize. I got to do better about it, especially since we're not in the middle of tax season. Well, maybe kind of are, but like not actual tax season. This is just the second deadline that we'll have on the 15th here, which after that, I should be free for a good like 2.5 months. Thank God. Okay. You okay, Cad? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you guys doing? Sorry, I've just been like juggling a whole bunch of stuff here lately, so it's been a thing. Binoculus, yes. Yeah, we got the announcement of the new Ptolemy event. We'll be going over that with you guys here today as soon as I can get my AP down. And that one's a little bit complex, so I've kind of like I was talking with Avalon about it, and we got some stuff together for it because like it's not as simple as like me just being able to like read through a guide for that one. Just because it is unique. We have never had an event like it, nor have we had one since. So, but it's nothing too difficult. Just it's going to be a little bit more difficult on me to explain it. We also had like news apparently. Funcom, who runs the like Conan Exiles and Dune Awakening games, Funcom is apparently laying people off. We don't know how many. We don't know. Technically, we don't know where, but it heavily implied that it's going to happen to the Dune staff. So I assume that's where it'll be because Dune's numbers have not panned out well over time here because they're not really like doing much to the game, and they've kind of unfortunately left the game in a state that appeases very few of its actual players. And I don't think that's a good strategy for them long term. They're kind of like they're going with their creative vision for the game, but their creative vision was kind of bad because the game peaked at like 200,000 players. And they're last I checked, they're like averaging about like 15k right now, which is, I mean, it's not like Ghost Town dead. That's better than a lot of games, but it's also not doing that good for where it had been. Even like a month ago, I think they had like 30k. So it's just they're not doing well in terms of like sustained numbers because people are just waiting for new content and people are waiting for them to actually make the adjustment to the end game that they want them to, which is to give some form of like, hey, you don't have to PvP. And the devs keep saying that they've done that, but they absolutely have not. You do have to go into the PvP zones. You do have to deal with PvP players, and it's just kind of bad. And then honestly, even from there, the end game isn't really an end game. There's not like much to do once you've got everything built. So the game just needs a lot of love. I do think it still has a lot of potential. I do still think it's a really fun game, at least for the first like 100 hours or so. But I think after that, the game really does fall off pretty hard, and they've got to do something if they want to like keep a consistent player base playing it. Finally getting around to finishing LB7 on Korea at the Ort raids. Nice. Dune, yes, Dune Awakening. So like we haven't been playing it too much lately. I know Bob's been keeping the bases intact for right now, but like it's one of those deals where it's like I'm still hopeful that they eventually figure it out because Funcom's not stupid. Like they usually do run the games well, but Funcom has a very bad history of kind of over monetizing, and pretty much ever since they got bought by Tencent like 5 years ago, the monetization for their games has been straight ass. So Conan has gotten a lot better in that regard now, because they just have the like cosmetic cash shop, so if you want it you can get it, as opposed to like they had a battle pass and stuff before, but now that's all gone, thankfully, because I think they realized it's like it wasn't a good thing and it wasn't working for them. But like Dune Awakening still has some lessons to learn, I think. CZ, thank you for the 57. Appreciate it, my dude. Again, hope you're having a good one. And chat, if you've never watched Mr. CZ, go do so. He's a good buddy of mine, good member of Team Explosion. Loves to stream his gacha games, FGO included. But yeah, it's that was just some interesting news for me because obviously that's a game that I have played quite a bit with you guys. It is a fun game. It's so sad to see that happening, but I think it was absolutely predictable. And then the big gaming news that we had today was them like basically Microsoft just getting absolutely raked over the coals. Of course, my headset's dying. Chat. Hold on, let me change my headset because it's dying on me. Because of Game Pass? Yes, sorry, I stopped mid-thought there. Yeah, basically Microsoft is getting just raked over the coals because of Game Pass. They basically doubled the price. There's been a whole lot of like other problems too, which is them saying that sorry, hold on. Them saying that like, oh, they're no longer going to honor like DLC discounts. Prophet was telling me his lifetime like lock-in of price from way back in the day. They sent him an email and notified him that it's going to change. And I think I also saw that like there's a lot of like DLC benefits that they're no longer going to offer. So like basically Game Pass is getting like 100% worse. It is doubling in price. It's losing a ton of benefits, and it's like not honoring its prior deals. And then on the other hand, you had I think her name is Sarah Bond for that works at Xbox, was out there sitting there saying like, oh yeah, it's still highly profitable. It's still really, really good. And it's like, so dumb of her. She should have declined to comment rather than make that statement. And here's why, chat. Is Xbox Game Pass profitable? No. I'm sure it rakes in a ton of revenue, but it's actually probably not making money like hand over fist like they're trying to claim it is. So in that regard, I think she was trying to make it sound good because she was like, oh yeah. But then she also threw in a comment of like, but the more creators we get, the more profitable it'll be. And I'm like, that tells me that's the issue. So when they say creators with regards to Game Pass, chat, they're not talking about like content creators like me. They're talking about like actual whatchamacallit, like actual like game developers and stuff, like creatives is probably the better term. But that tells me that they are not actually like joining Game Pass, and that has been the problem. And to be fair, I think that's been an issue. I think when Game Pass first came out, a lot of developers went in on it, and unfortunately, I think it shuttered quite a few studios. And what I mean by that is that basically Game Pass, we'll just call it GP for short. Game Pass got a lot of like devs in on it. Those devs gave them their game. That game did piss poor in terms of money and absolutely underperformed expectations. And that then caused the dev to basically go bankrupt. Okay. And so now because of this, I think other devs have seen that. I think other devs have seen the colossal failures of some of the projects that have gone on the Game Pass. And those devs are going like, hey, it's fine, but no, we're not going to be on Game Pass. Or if we are on Game Pass, it's in a very limited quantity. Like, maybe we'll be on Game Pass for like a month. Maybe we'll be on Game Pass for like 3 months. But we're not going to be on Game Pass for the full duration of our game's life cycle. And the reason why is because they are making pennies on the dollar rather than the like full amount that they would otherwise make in a normal marketplace. So I think the devs know that, and the devs don't want to be on Game Pass. And to be fair, that's exactly what Microsoft is trying to trick the devs into. Microsoft swindled a lot of devs basically by telling them that like, we're going to offer you like funding and coverage and help you produce the game, and then you'll leave it on Game Pass, and then we'll have the catalog. The problem with this is while the devs can help you, while Microsoft can help you fund your game and produce it, if your game doesn't make shit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're splitting costs with you because you're not recouping the costs still. So it's not a good thing at that point. It's the Epic exclusive shit all over again. Right. So, in the past like 5 or so years, I think you've seen a whole bunch of devs now that are like, I don't want to be on Game Pass. No. Sven, the like lead developer for Larian Studios and the studio head basically said, he's like, we don't want to offer our product on Game Pass. And he's like, it's no insult towards Game Pass, but at the time, he's like, everything's trying to go to this exclusive and like subscription model. And he's like, we are confident in the product we've made. We know it's good. All we ask is that you pay us the full price for it. But at the end of the day, we're also pledging to not do like day one DLC. We're not going to like sit here and do expansions or anything like that. Like we're not going to like monetize the game more than this. So it's like, yes, you have to pay full price, but you're getting what you paid for. There's no like carved out content or like extra revenue schemes or anything like that. So he's like, so we feel that that's fair. And he's right. He was absolutely right to make that statement. And he was saying as well that it was important to still have things that were not subscription model, things that were not exclusive, that were available to the masses still in the way that they traditionally have been, because a little bit at the time that was kind of beginning to die out. And when he kind of made those statements, I think a lot of devs noticed. I think some of them had already been noticing, but I think a lot of the indies like took heed of that and were like, yeah, that's not a good thing. We shouldn't do that. Like, we shouldn't go on there because it might wreck us. We might not actually get what we need. So because of that, you know, just bring this back all full circle. I think Sarah Bond has kind of like made those statements and it reveals what the actual truth is. And the truth there is that they can't get the developers to actually get on Game Pass anymore. And because of that, their catalog is kind of shit. So what they're having to do in order to increase the catalog is they are having to offer the developers more and more money basically over time just to get their game on it and to keep it for longer periods. And it's draining them dry. Meanwhile, subscription numbers are apparently, by all accounts, not growing. They're not falling per se, but they're just kind of treading even with the way Game Pass is. And so because of that, their entire model is almost like a pyramid scheme. It's built on the, well, if we just have a infinite amount of subscribers and they just like, it keeps growing over time, then we can keep paying more and more and more to the devs. But because this is trending even, they can't keep paying more and more to the devs, and it's burning a hole in their pocket. So they are just actually screwed by that. And so how are they going to pay the devs more and more? How are they going to fund their pyramid scheme? What did they do, chat? What was the announcement that they just made? Subscriber numbers are not going up. They're having a hard time getting people to actually come in because they need the payouts to be big enough. I know. We'll make our existing subscribers pay double. I think it's closer to a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, sorry. I use pyramid and Ponzi pretty interchangeably, but there are some differences. But yeah, it's just, they're basically reliant on that like infinite growth model. It just does not work. You can't do that. You're never going to have infinite growth. And now they're reaping what they sowed, which is that because they were kind of assholes about how they handled all this in the first place, it slowly began to turn people away from what they thought was originally a good deal. And that people have now gotten wise to it, and the numbers have not increased. And therefore, they're now going to have to increase numbers on those that do exist, and it's going to kill Game Pass. Chat, I think if Game Pass can get through this month, it'll continue to be a thing. But I also, at the same time, I would not actually be surprised with how much I see other people to hear like Game Pass basically get canceled by the end of the year. You might think like, God, there's no way. It's Microsoft. There's no way they're going to do that. No, it's because it's Microsoft. Microsoft will absolutely pull the plug on an unprofitable business venture like that. They're just going to go like, you know what? There's no more subscribers. The well has run dry. We're canceling it. Game Pass is not a thing anymore. So I would not be at all surprised. So maybe not by the end of the month, but maybe like by the end of the year. If it can survive the end of this year, then Game Pass will probably still be okay for a bit. But I do think that is their problem, is like right now, because they've done all this, apparently like everyone and their brother is just canceling their subscriptions. So they're in a whole world of hurt. Like, it's not going to pay off for them. Yeah, sorry, I have drop frames. Hold on. Let me reboot stream. I gotta wait on it to stop. They got him. Yeah, it should be back. If you guys can refresh and tell other people in chat to refresh. Sorry about that. It's because the other day I was having some drop frames and I switched servers, and the server I switched to always has drop frames. That's why I don't stream to it. So basically the Miami server is always ass. So I only switch to it if I have to, because the primary server is occasionally having it. But it is what it is. Yeah. So because of that, I think like if Microsoft can survive the end of the year with Game Pass, they'll probably be fine. But apparently, like, everybody and their brother's canceling their Game Pass subscription, and I don't blame them. It's like you're literally doubling the price on people. People are just not gonna see the benefit. I already think, to a degree, the subscription model was like kind of a bad idea, at least in the sense of the value has not been there. Like, yeah, they're like, oh, you get all of these titles. You get like 100 titles. That's like the 100 titles you get. Like, I'm gonna be honest, you might play. You might consider like 10 of the titles to be in your like realm of like, hey, these are what I would play. There's just a whole bunch of like extra slop there. And how do I know? I've literally, with my Game Pass, like I've gotten like free subscriptions from them for promoting stuff, which, by the way, is how they charged me. And one of the reasons that I was like super upset with them is because they were charging me over like the course of 2 years, and I didn't even realize it, for Game Pass, even though like I never actually properly signed up for it. So it absolutely pissed me the hell off. But regardless of things like that, I'm still going to say it's like, I think from that experience, from going through the catalog and trying to see like what I would be interested in, and realizing that there just really was not a whole lot, and some of the stuff that I would be interested in were things that I had already played, it made me go like, wow, I don't actually like see the value here. I think I saw somebody else tweet out today that like, I bought 4 games on launch this year just to have them, just to own them. And he was basically commenting that that was like all he really played this year. And the price of those 4 games, buying them at launch, is cheaper than Game Pass. And he's like, there's no point. I'm like, yeah, he's right. There's absolutely no point if you're not going to be like taking advantage of the catalog to the extent that the value there is worth it for you. How big is the Xbox storage anyways? That I don't know. I'm always speaking about this stuff from like a PC perspective, not for like a console. They deserve it for playing COD. I mean, people still play COD. I think Darty got the new Black Ops 7. But it's like, it is what it is. I think this is unfortunately the last check that Microsoft's gonna write, and they're gonna realize it's just not worth. Because I think like Microsoft has for a while been trying to rely on things like Game Pass to help them, and they screwed up Game Pass, and Game Pass is their last like real foothold. It's sad, but it is what it is. So the only thing I can see Microsoft doing from here, Pawn 9, is I can see Microsoft switching to instead of being like Game Pass, instead of being like console, I can switch. I can see Microsoft trying to switch to be way more of a producer, where they own studios and they facilitate the production of video games and collect the licensing off of that. I don't see them doing much more with the console, though apparently they are still developing a new one. I don't think Game Pass is got much life left in it. And they may still like continue to support it, but I think Microsoft's gonna pull the plug on it. So I think you're looking at like this being the future of Xbox. When Microsoft keeps shutting down studios, true. That is a problem. The Halo remake is also scaring people. Scarring or scaring? Scaring people now, since it is apparently it isn't a full remake, but similar thing to the Oblivion remake. Really? Because like, I don't even feel like Halo really had like that bad of graphics. Like the original Halo still looks pretty nice. Like it's not super high quality, but I would think you could just upscale it and you wouldn't have to do much. Like, I wouldn't say it needs the actual Oblivion treatment where they like put it in a new engine. But maybe that's all you're referring to, is that they're improving the graphics. So it's the hybrid Unreal 5 thing? Bro, what? Okay. That's just weird. I don't get. I'm also not sure that's gonna work well with like stuff. No good cards. Google says Halo Combat Evolved remake. Yeah, that's... I think video games are falling the way of like Hollywood to a large extent too, where the culture has changed. Some of the stupid stuff, people are just so tired of it happening. And I think like things like remakes are really all they have left. And it's just not gonna go well. Like it's they think they could just keep doing the same thing that they've always done, and it's not gonna work. I miss playing the good Halos, right? I think the problem with this stuff is that so many of these studios have basically one of two problems. Problem number one is they're infected with a bunch of like self-important, agenda-ridden, like I can do it better, holier than thou people. So like problem number one is that like too many of these studios have somebody that's going to try to push their agenda into the game, and it's going to make people hate the game. Problem number two is just corporate. It's like literally, it's like they're letting the suits control everything. It's monetized out the ass. It's just not fun to play. It's baked in with FOMO everywhere, and you're just like, bro, I just want to play a game. And I think there's plenty of other problems, but I think these are the two like biggest problems that like gaming is just running into now. And thankfully, I feel like at least on the former one, this one's kind of getting figured out by people. Slowly but surely, I'm seeing some signs that maybe people are realizing, hey, this isn't so good of an idea. But the temporary stopgap on number two is basically that like people are going indie for a lot of their needs. So it's like, oh, I'm just going to buy this indie game. Fuck these AAA studios. They're not doing what I need them to do. So I think until that's what people are doing. Whereas like with the first one, the solution is simply just don't buy. Like this one is, I'm not gonna buy either, but I'm gonna go find a replacement, something else to do. Whereas with the former, I think like people just don't buy it and they just say whatever, it's a crap game. People were promoted to get them out of the way to the point they were actually in a position of power. I don't even think it's necessarily something like that, because it's too prevalent. right? So I assume with things like that, you have people that are just, I don't know, maybe they just bide their time. They just wait until like finally they get to like such a point that they have control over something, and then they try to like really push their ideals on it. And it's also, I think, to a degree that like when you have people like that working at the business, that means that you also have somebody that's probably like handling the hiring that's also of that same sentiment, and therefore they hire more people of the same sentiment, and then therefore it becomes like infectious and you can't do anything with it. So I think there's all sorts of problems. I'm gonna say like, and this is obviously getting close to like politics and stuff like that, but I think I'm gonna stick to more the truth of the matter here, okay? Which is that when it comes to video games, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what your political affiliations or ideals even are. But also, if that is like all consuming and that is like the only thing you know to do, you shouldn't be in video gaming. You should be in news. You should be, working for the political party. You should be doing something else with your life. Video gaming is about making escapism. It's about making fun. It's about making a product that people can enjoy. If your focus is anything other than that, you're doing it wrong. Okay? So, and that's what I mean when I say like agenda. It's like any agenda you're trying to put in. It doesn't really matter. It's like at the end of the day, while you can have different like morals and lessons and like stories and stuff that you're trying to tell, and characters of all race and creed and background in your game, none of that matters as long as you are trying to make it interesting and tell a good, proper story. When, however, your ideas are so warped that they are like I think it's like it's fine to have ideas that are out there, but when they're not creative, when they're just, it's like tokenism and preachy and like you're just trying to push stuff. You're not focused on making a good, well-rounded character that people like and enjoy. You're focused on pushing and preaching and telling people how to think. That's, I think, the issue. So it's like people say it's like, oh, it's not bad. It's like, because like, I use DEI as a term all the time and how I don't like it. The problem with DEI for me is that like you have basically scenarios where people are doing that tokenism, that preaching, that like agenda ridden stuff. That's the issue with it, because that is DEI manifesting itself in the worst possible way. But having a character that is, like some people might call it DEI, but it's like having a gay character, having like a black character, having an Asian character or anything like that in a different setting. It's like, oh, maybe it's a medieval setting and you have like, I don't know, like some Asian dude there or something. It's like, that's not a problem. I don't care. You can put whoever you want in whatever setting you want. What matters is that it makes sense for them to be there, that you do the character development that you need to do, that like you set up the story properly and that it all makes sense. The issue is when you don't do that and it becomes jarring and it becomes forced. That's the problem. So it's like, I don't really care. In the same way that like, Chad, I have seen like a black guy play Julius Caesar and he did an amazing job with it. And I didn't care. Like, I don't see race and stuff like that. To me, it's never really been an issue in any sort of way, shape, or form. It's more how it's done. Like, if the person was not trying to do Julius Caesar proper justice as an actor, then that would be a problem. If the person is trying to, like, subvert the role in some way, it's a problem. If the person is trying to, again, like, do their own agenda and get preachy, that's an issue. So it's like, to me, it's all about, like, just making an actual fun, entertaining, and good game. Like, because I'm also someone that's like, I grew up playing like the Final Fantasies. Final Fantasies have like really diverse characters in them, and you don't care about any of it. And that's really all it is. So it's like you just have to sit there and say, it's like, it's not even about politics. Everyone wants to turn it into politics. It is about like just trying not to politicize stuff is really all it needs to be. That's all we really need to say about it. It's like, don't turn it into politics. The second you turn it into politics, it inherently, like, your product becomes shit. Your game becomes bad. Why? Because it's politics. It's not entertainment at that point. It's not meant for like consumption to allow people to escape from the real world or to allow people to have fun and enjoy it. Instead, it's no, you need to think how I want you to think. And it's like that's stupid. I don't like that. No matter what the messaging there is. Like, obviously there might be messaging that you or like somebody else agrees with, and they're not going to find fault with it, or you're not going to find fault with it. That's fine, but that still wouldn't make it not an issue. It would just mean it's not an issue for you, but it's definitely an issue for those other people. And that's why, like, my belief in all actuality of this is that it's incredibly stupid if you're trying to make a product for mass appeal. Like, you're trying to make something for like all gamers or all fans of this genre, instead of you're trying to make a niche thing only for a group of people. That is a different story. If you're trying to make a niche product, fine. You understand that like some people are going to like your product, some people aren't. In the same way, it's like if I'm making a strategy game, you know, and it's like turn-based strategy. It's like, oh, well, you know who's not going to like that? I don't know, like run and gun shooter players, players that play sports games. Like, it's just not their genre. And so you would never cater to them because you know that you don't need to. You're only going to cater to the people that like strategy games. Why? Because those are the only people that are going to buy your game anyways. So it just makes sense. I say Barrett from Final Fantasy VII is still one of my favorite characters. Yeah, absolutely. I like, and that's where I think like a lot of the problems for this stuff happens with this, because people do just try to descend it into politics, and it's like that's politically obsessed people is really all it is. It's like, this doesn't need to be about politics. The core of the issue, I guess you could say, is politics, but the problem that is causing the issue is that someone's trying to inject their politics into something, and it's like, just don't. That's simple. Like, you want to make an interesting character? Make them well-rounded. Give them a background. Give them a reason for doing what they're doing, and make that reason just not like your self-insert, like I'm trying to like push something on people. Make it like where it's like, hey, how would a character along these lines think? And it's that simple. It's easy to do that stuff. The fact that like gaming in a nutshell seems to have a hard time with it, I think, is the problem that we have. And that's a problem that's, I think, it's infected Hollywood for years. It's infected a lot of circles of society. The good and encouraging thing for me is that I am beginning to see people that are just like, no. And I want to say this too. I think the youngest generation is especially just not putting up with this shit. And that's good. I thank you. You are saving the world from, frankly, millennial bullshit. And I say this as a millennial. But like, I don't know why millennials feel that they have to like ram their shit down other people's throat. It's ridiculous to me. So it's like, yes, just don't put up with it. Don't budge. Don't accept people like infringing in your hobbies, in your lives and stuff like that, because they're just miserable people that feel the need to try and like push their worldview on other people. And it's not just millennials. It's not just millennials, but millennials are the worst for it. I really truly do believe that. I don't think there's any other like generation that has been as bad in that regard. Because like I said, I grew up around millennials. I see the way they act, and dear Lord, like some of them are just insufferable. How's it going? How's your note? And it's going pretty good. Hope yours is as well. As a millennial, we can't write for shit. You see, like that I would say is maybe an overgeneralization, because I'm sure there are millennials that can write well. Like, it's just, man, yeah, I think like unfortunately they maybe put people into, I don't know why that didn't kill actually. It's like you have people that are in roles that they probably shouldn't be. Or maybe they're just forgetting that, like, in order to write well, they need to, like, check their ego at the door type thing, right? Like, and I saw this the other day, someone saying, like, if you want to write well, you have to understand that even if you have good ideas, that good idea might not actually be good. And so you have to be willing to throw it out. So it's like, if you're like, oh man, I had this really awesome idea for a character, and then you run that by like 5 of your friends, and all 5 of your friends are like, that idea is shit. And you're like, they don't know. I'm right. The world is wrong. Like, no, you're wrong. You have to be willing to like say like, okay, maybe like something's off about the character that I'm trying to write. Maybe the idea needs tweaking, or maybe I just shouldn't go with that idea at all. Like, you have to be open-minded. That really is the issue there. Do you not have the MLB damage sheet yet? No, because I keep sitting on this note. I need to go back and do it. Gen Z flocks to restaurant food because of millennial bad home cooking. Oh, that's fine. Gen Z will bankrupt themselves then. I'm sorry. That is an actually astute observation, if that's true. And the reason why is because, like, don't get me wrong, but ever since COVID, restaurant like prices have ballooned like crazy, dude. It's kind of just nutty now that, like, I sit there, like, again, you guys know I've been going on dates, and I have been paying for every meal because that's how I roll. But like, oh man. It is not the best in some places. Some places are actually like surprisingly cheap. Other places I'm like, what do you mean this is $200? So it is what it is, chat. Got to kill those 120 Zerker enemies on the 90 plus node. Yeah, I just need to go back and do it. I think you have too much faith in people, Cad. People just want to live in echo chambers. Some people do. I don't think like everybody wants to live in an echo chamber. I think the issue at play is, rather than echo chambers, people do just want to reasonably be left alone. Like, and they want to engage at their own like pace and desire, right? So the problem then is some people really like to engage, some people don't like to engage. And the people that really like to engage are just naturally very pushy. I almost said pussy. Pushy and assholish, right? Like type of people. So they inevitably kind of like ruin it for everybody, is I'm gonna say. So it's like, I wouldn't even go into like the whole echo chamber argument, because obviously I do think there's realms of this where it's like you like to feel validated and like people are thinking along the same lines of you. But I think even within echo chambers, there is dissonance and there is, people that'll disagree and get in arguments and stuff. So I don't think it's entirely about that. I think it's just more that like some people really do just want to be left alone. But, there's points where the world does not want to let you be alone. It wants to absolutely get all up in your shit. And therein lies the problem. Many millennials and Gen Z I know feel hopeless. Yes, but I'm also going to say I think there's many that don't. I think, unfortunately, in chat, this is the problem with the internet. If you spend all of your time on the internet, you're going to feel really, like, depressed. You're going to feel like the world's a shit place. You're going to feel like there's no hope. You're going to feel like, why even bother? I think what'll break you out of that is getting out. Like, again, the meme of go touch grass. the reason it's so like viral and so popular is because it's true. Like, if you guys feel like you're being overwhelmed at points, it's like, go do something else. Like you don't even have to leave the house in that regard, but it's like, hey, maybe go like read a book. Maybe just go like I don't know, go exercise or something. It's like, don't just sit there like doom scrolling on like Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Like, go out and basically find something else to do, and you'll be surprised at how more fulfilled you feel in doing that stuff. Why do you think I quit social media? It's a circle of carnage. It really is. I do think sadly that social media is I think like at first social media was a really like big win for humanity, and I think social media is becoming worse and worse over time. Now there'll be people that'll be like really quick to be like, oh, that is social media's fault. Well, chat, social media is what we make of it. And unfortunately, I think people elevate people that are not good people to elevate, right? So it's like, why, like if you doom scroll on your timeline on Twitter, why do we call it doom scrolling? Well, because you're going to see a bunch of negative shit. Why are you going to see a bunch of negative shit? Therein lies the problem. You're seeing negative shit because people like drama, people like bad and sad and depressing things, and that's what they're liking and that's what they're retweeting. That's on everybody. That's on me. That's on you. That's on everybody else out there. But it's like, when all you do 24/7 is push nihilistic bullshit, and that's all anybody likes, and that's all anyone circle jerks, it's like, yeah, no wonder it's not good, right? Like, if you want to not feel that way, don't gravitate in those circles. Find a group of people that's more positive or uplifting. That's like, and I'm just speaking from the heart here on this one, chat, but like, one of the things that I've really liked about meeting this girl, she is very positive, very open-minded, very just nice. Okay. And I'm not saying like everybody has to be all like sunshine and rainbows, but what that really made me think about is that like, because like even for me, I think like I was getting to the point where I was so jaded on women that like I'm just like, yeah, I'm never gonna meet like somebody that is normal. I'm only gonna meet these like self-important, egotistical, selfish asshole women. And meeting someone that's not that way has been eye-opening. Okay? So like, again, it has made me happier. It has made me feel more fulfilled. It has made me want to do things that I had given up on and try again. And that's where I'm going to say, it's like, it doesn't have to be a girlfriend even, chat. It's like, find literally a friend, like family members as well, that are like that. Surround yourself with those people. You are who you hang out with. If you're going to be around people that are largely just like constantly negative, and I think it's like one thing to complain, but it's another thing to like sit there and be like actually nihilistic and be like, oh, why bother, dude? The world sucks. Oh, there's no hope. There's no future. Like somebody like that. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be depressed if you hang out with them. You're going to think that the world is a terrible place. Just don't think along those lines. You want to be happier? Think happier thoughts. And I know, like, for people that actually have depression, it's not that easy, okay? So don't get me wrong. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, you've got to start taking steps to not surround yourself with that kind of negativity. And that's, even for me, like, even before I met her, right? Like, one of my big things has always been, like, as I have met people online, if you are overly toxic, if you are overly manipulative, if you are overly negative, or just a real asshole to people, like, you don't treat them well, I cut you out. I do not hang out with you. I do not talk with you. I do not associate with you. Why? Because you're fucking miserable, and I don't want to deal with your bullshit. The world is a negative enough place as is. Let that person be somebody else's problem. I'm not going to deal with them. Thank you, Gudako. Real people and also on social media. Yep. Just be happy. It is what it is. But yeah, nobody likes a Squidward. Exactly. So it's like, again, I'm not going to say you have to be all sunshine and rainbows, but it's like, just if you feel like you're getting depressed, if you feel like there's no hope, change. That's something that I have always been really good about, personally. If I feel like I have no potential in doing what I'm doing, why would I keep doing it? Change. Make a change. Do something different. Like, I'm not going to say you have to take things to like drastic extremes or anything like that, but maybe for some of you that might be what it takes. Maybe it's a good idea to say, you know, like, my current living circumstances are not working for me. I need to make a change. And that change could be, maybe you get a new job. Maybe you move to a new place. Maybe you go out and try to meet different people. Maybe you switch up your habits online. Maybe you stop spending so much on things that you don't need. It doesn't matter, but it's like, whatever the source of your frustration or depression is, it's always in your power to make a change. And some of that starts with recognizing that you do have power to do something about that. The other part of that is going to come from, like, honestly, just maybe sit down and talk with somebody. And actually, like, I'm not saying necessarily to like confront someone, but, you know, maybe if somebody else is a source of your frustration, maybe you do. Maybe you do need to have a heart to heart with someone. But also at the same time, it's like, it's a good idea, I think, to, you know, go talk with somebody and like talk about your prospects and be like, man, I really feel like down in the dumps. What do you think? What should I do? Get somebody else's second opinion. And then that can help you. And I'm not saying like, I mean, if you're feeling really bad, that can be a psychiatrist. Like, you can go get help, right? Like actual medical help. But I'm saying, in general, just like sometimes just talking it out with somebody else it'll help you work through the process of what's causing the issues. And it'll also help you feel better about it and start like coming up with a plan of what you can do for yourself. Like for me, chat, one of the reasons I was miserable, I was overweight. And I've been eating healthier. I have been working out. I feel like I have so much energy now, and it's great. It's actually great. I've gotten back into playing IRL Magic the Gathering, and it's helped my mental state. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Obviously, I think people are afraid to go out and like deal with real world people, okay? Some people are assholes. If you encounter one, just like you would on the internet, you know, if you're forced to like sit there, it's like, just be polite, be cordial, but then like, don't associate with them. Get out of there. Don't deal with it anymore. Get rid of that toxicity, right? Like, but at the same time, I feel like the risk of meeting someone like that is worth it, because chat, for every asshole you meet that you don't associate with, you might also meet one friend, and that friend might change your life. Maybe you have someone new to hang out with. Maybe you have a buddy that's going to like go on trips with you or take you places. Maybe you have somebody that shares your hobby and interest that you can now actually talk with, where maybe before nobody else felt about the same thing as you. So now you don't feel as isolated. Now you feel like you actually have somebody you can have a heart to heart with. Honestly, one of the good things for me is one of the people that we hired a couple years ago now, like, one of my coworkers, he's just been a blast. He's kind of gotten into gaming here lately, and so like now I have somebody at work that I can talk with about that, and that's amazing. Like before, I didn't have that, and I kind of hated a bunch of my coworkers. So I think it's better to actually like find somebody, because I can speak just from experience that it's like it is therapeutic. It will make you feel better. A gaming coworker friend is awesome to have, exactly. But yeah, it's just like whatever you guys need to do to get yourself out of that funk. I know I'm sounding awfully preachy myself here. I know I'm sounding like I'm giving like psychiatric advice and stuff, but it's like, no, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience and like things that I know that can help. Okay. But if you do need actual help, go see someone. Okay? That's the best advice I can also give you, is that like, don't neglect it till it becomes an issue, and at that point you start having like bad thoughts and you feel like, you know, your life isn't worth it and you feel like you're going to take things into your own hands. At that point, don't do that. Seek help. Talk to someone. Okay? That's really all I can tell you. And chat to an extent. You know, you guys don't know me in real life or anything like that, but I can at least listen. Okay? So if you guys ever feel the need to talk to somebody, I'm a very busy person. I won't deny that. But I can at least hear you out. And I have, over the years, I've had many people that have sent me messages and stuff like that. Again, I'm not like some professional qualified to give any amount of like actual psychiatric advice, so don't rely on me for that. But if you just need somebody to talk to, I'm always there. I just may not get back to you right away. Okay. Good advice from Philosophical Cat. Yeah. Waiting for your motivational TED talk. Feel like that's what that was, but no. Like I don't think I'm important enough to do anything like that, right? I have seen the depths of the internet. I have seen how people have acted over the years. I know it is problematic. And I know how bad it can get for people. I know how terrible people can feel. And you don't have to feel that way. And I don't want you guys to ever feel like you're trapped and that you do have to feel that way. As I've become older, I've become more Machiavellian. Well, I wouldn't say Machiavellian's a good term. And I hate Machiavellianism, because Machiavellianism is that the ends justify the means. Okay? Which is a funny way of saying anything is permissible as long as I get what I want in the end. So I wouldn't say don't be Machiavellian. The means matter. The ends do not justify them. That is to say, rather than saying the only thing that matters is the destination, not the journey, instead, the journey is what matters, chat. We're all going to the same place in the end. I mean, maybe, right? Like maybe some of us go up, maybe some of us go down. It is what it is. But like we're all going 6 feet under in the end. All that is left is how you choose to spend your time. So, because of that, enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. Have fun. Have a blast. Don't mire yourself in negative thoughts and, you know, leave yourself prone to inaction and not able to enjoy your own life. I think that's where people feel like they're stuck and trapped, and it's not good. So, if you ever feel like you're having problems, make a change. Telling people that is not very Machiavellian, I think. It just, in general, it's like, for me, I'm not someone that ascribes to Machiavellian philosophy in that regard, because I believe more that it's more about like how you go about your life in the end that will end up defining it, that will end up being what actually impacts the end, right? The end will at least change for you somewhat, depending on how you conduct yourself. Oh, I just realized dog cam is all over to the side there. Yeah. Machiavellian philosophy usually deals with government and politics, and saying like sometimes if you want to enact change, you just have to be willing to do whatever is necessary, right? But trying to apply Machiavellian philosophy to like everything in life is really bad. Like, you really do not want to do something like that, and just because it's going to mean that you might commit some like heinous things and you would not be able to take them back. And you might be thinking like, oh yeah, but that's on like a government or a political scale. Surely that won't happen for me personally. No, it will. No, it will. You will deeply upset your family, your loved ones, your friends, depending on your actions. So always tread lightly. Can't just quote Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. No, if anything, I quoted Gandalf earlier because I basically said all that was left is the board is set, the pieces are moving, all that we have is the time that is given to us. Is, I believe, Gandalf's quote from Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is so good. It really is. Useful one to meditate on. Frodo, I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened. Then Gandalf says, so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Yep. Yeah, and I think that's where the movie gets the quote from, is that line. But yeah, that is largely what I'm evoking, because it's like, chat, you don't know the hour, you don't know when like your life will end, okay? So what's left to you? Well, if you might be able to an extent to be able to choose how you go out, but at the end of the day, all you really have control over is, how you're actually going to conduct yourself over your life. So that is probably the better one. That is also going to be 4. Yeah, so I can delay pressing that. Gonna be honest, Lord of the Rings has reinvigorated my philosophy and faith. Lord of the Rings, just in general, I think, like, even if you remove like faith from the equation and like anything religious out of it, Lord of the Rings is just a really good like philosophical like idealism to kind of embrace. It's not nihilism, it's hope. It's striving for a better tomorrow type deal, right? Like, because tomorrow won't come unless you work for it. You have to try. So it's like, I think that's one of the things that I really like about Tolkien as a writer, is he instilled hope into a lot of his works. He really wanted people to understand that even when like things are at their worst, even when things are at their darkest, that like there is still that hope, and that you can grab onto it and you can try to do something about it. Oda was a prime example. Someone who was obsessed with the future and turned out so much that he sacrificed his eye to gain future sight and still didn't predict Ragnarok and his own death until he did. Yep. Yeah, it's... And, whether or not you believe any of that was real, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's still a decent lesson. It's that no matter how much you sit there and you try to, like, prevent some things, they're going to happen. And instead, you would be better off spending your time more productively, more enjoyably, right? Now, it doesn't also mean that there's not like extremes to the other extent, chat. you could be like, you know what, Cad, you're right. I'm going to go out. I'm going to blow my money on like hookers and cocaine. And I'm going to have a blast. And I'm going to go out with a bang. And you could do that. And you would enjoy yourself at least temporarily. But you also wouldn't lead a fulfilling life if you did that. So it's like, to one extent, it's like I'm telling you to go out and do something. But I think in general, a good concept also to keep in mind is like everything in moderation, right? Don't sit there and like throw yourself to the wolves. And blackjack? Yeah, and blackjack. You're going to start your own casino. Did I like pop an apple or did I level up or something? I feel like I've done a whole bunch of runs on JP and I just didn't even realize it. Have I been like while like waxing philosophic here, have I just been like randomly popping apples? Did you try Ghost of Yotei? Yeah, we played it last night. It's good so far. My only problem is the stick drift. My PlayStation 5 controller's having some nasty drift issues. I think you did. I think I did too. Then you wake up and realize you wasted it all. Yeah. He's way better than George R. R. Martin in that regard. Yeah, I think George R. R. Martin's really good if you like drama and suspense. And, you know, like the thing that I could say about Game of Thrones is that like it quite literally just was like Last Man Standing, Battle Royale, like just actual like political thriller, okay? But you can also see the problem with that. Why did everybody love the story of Game of Thrones and then everybody hated the ending? And that's something to think about. Why did everyone hate the ending to Game of Thrones? It's because, unfortunately, while that can make a story entertaining and gripping, it does not leave the story in a satisfactory state for an ending. Though I will admit, he simply could have written it better, right? People needed a good ending. Yeah, one of the biggest criticisms that I have ever seen of Game of Thrones' ending is that the Lannisters got a happier ending than anybody else in the show. Because they died in each other's arms. And like, that is so bullshit. It's like technically the only like actually like romanticized happy ending went to the group of people that deserved it the least. House of the Dragon has been good so far, IMO. I gotta remember where I'm at. I don't remember if I finished the second season of it or not, but yeah, I've been at least enjoying House of the Dragon to an extent. Because I think like the world he created is interesting. I mean, it's largely based off of the British Isles in general, but like, I think it's interesting. I think George R. R. Martin is a good writer, but I think ultimately he has a very nihilistic viewpoint. And that's one of the reasons that he reportedly hates Tolkien. He does not like the way Tolkien writes, and it definitely shows in his work. He can make something interesting. He can make something that will entertain people, but ultimately it winds up being hollow because it's written by somebody who himself is hollow. And that is, I think, the issue at play. Okay, chat. Let's do the new player count now. Martin's old and bitter. He won't finish his books. I think at this point, he, to an extent, while he could finish it, I think he also fears what happens when he actually does. I think he fears that in finishing it, he is going to end up doing irrevocable damage to the IP. Because, unfortunately, I believe the ending to the show probably was what he actually considered to be the proper ending. So everyone gave it a pass, saying like, oh, that had to be on the show directors. And I'm like, no, I think that's what George R. R. Martin told them, and I think that's what they were expecting to happen. I fully believe part of it's spite. It wouldn't surprise me. Hello, Aniko. How's it going? At least Tolkien finished his main story. Yeah. Well, I mean, what's so funny, chat? So... yeah, Elden Ring. People rave about the lore of Elden Ring, and they say it's so good. You know what's really funny? A lot of the themes and tropes in Elden Ring, I mean, George R. R. Martin apparently wrote it and developed it. But a lot of the themes and tropes come from Lord of the Rings. So he can hate on Lord of the Rings all he wants, but it clearly, like, lives rent-free in his head. Like, absolutely, he got those ideas from Lord of the Rings. And why do I say that? Because I don't believe George R. R. Martin has actually read the God, what is it? I think it's the Nibelung, or the Nibelung, however you say it. Like the original story that like the ring mythos and everything is from, and like Germanic lore, and that's what Lord of the Rings is also based off of. So it's like, I don't think that's where he got it. I think he straight up got a lot of those things from actual Lord of the Rings, which tells me that, like I said, it's like it does. It just lives rent free in his head. Do it like that. See if the level 80 Fujino can kill. It will kill. Ring of the Nibelungs, thank you. Yep. Lord of the Rings is fundamental to modern fantasy. You would not, so this is going to sound crazy, right? This is going to sound like I'm taking an extreme viewpoint here, but it is actually not extreme, and it is provable that you would simply just not have modern fantasy without Lord of the Rings. What do I mean? The only reason fantasy books started getting published en masse was because Lord of the Rings made it popular. Without it, you would not have like modern fiction at all, really. And that's crazy. Like, actually crazy. So it's like, you can argue that Lord of the Rings quite literally just paved the way for everything that came after it. Tolkien proved fantasy was profitable. Yep. Yep. And so it's like, it's really interesting. Obviously, you know, like to say Lord of the Rings influenced every other fantasy, I don't think is a stretch. It is what it is. I mean, like things like Arthurian mythos, certainly not, right? Because that predates it. But like anything that was developed after Lord of the Rings was influenced by Lord of the Rings, at least to some extent, which is kind of wild to me a little bit. That'll work. That needs to be you. Lord of the Rings game weight to fantasy stories and mythos. What do you mean? Oh, gave weight. Okay, I thought you were talking about like video games or something. I was like, huh? But yeah, no, I And that's why, like I said, it's like it sounds like a really extreme viewpoint, but it actually is like very truthful. It's not taking an extreme in the slightest. It's just everything kind of progressed thanks to Lord of the Rings. If you didn't have Lord of the Rings, you might have had issues. Brain cut onto my mistype. It's all good. Look at the 70s to 90s fantasy series. Many of them had their start as Lord of the Rings story, then could evolve into the author's preferred story structure. I mean, like even removing all that, it's just I'm simply going back to the idea that like you would not have, you know, like nowadays in modern like publishing, you can publish things like to social media. You can publish things in your own like websites and stuff like that. So it's like publishing is largely decentralized. But back then it was not. If you wanted something published and distributed, you had to go through a publisher. And publishers would not publish something they didn't think that they could profit off of. So apparently pre like Lord of the Rings' big boom, because I think when Lord of the Rings actually really got popular was like the 60s. Maybe it was like the 50s. I don't remember, but I think it was somewhere around there. But like, apparently, like because of that, they started publishing so many more fantasy novels. Like they went out and they could not find enough of them. So it's like, that's all I'm trying to say is that Lord of the Rings, regardless of whether or not it influenced the writer, ultimately ends up being the reason that you actually, regardless, got the work published. Well, a lot of it's the hero's journey as well, right? Which is the very well-known story archetype. I saw someone trying to complain today that all Sony games have the same story, and I was like, what? No. Like, I understand the gripe that maybe some of them are similar, but like saying every Sony game has the same story is just patently stupid. Like, that's me claiming every Xbox game has the same story, and it's like, huh? No. What? Tarzan and Barstool are both great stories that shouldn't be discounted. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like, oh, every single story is based off of Lord of the Rings. Simply that Lord of the Rings ended up being what paved the way for everything. But at the end of the day, fantasy is a unique genre. So Sony really likes its movie games, but they aren't the same. Yeah, like maybe, right? And it's like, I don't know, still no. Like, I think that's the exact type of like bullshit fake engagement that people are talking about that like Twitter is kind of just infamous for, where it's like, I'm gonna make a like polarizing statement on purpose just to get people to interact with it. Whereas, like, when I see someone say that, like, I'll talk with you guys about it, like, here. But I also just recognize that it's patently bullshit. And so, like, when I see that, I don't interact with it. I don't give it the engagement it desires. And that's also, like, bringing this all back full circle, chat, to what we were talking about earlier. It's like, that's why I say, like, a little bit it's on people for what they choose to promote. If I see someone that's being, like, really, like, stupid or negative or like baity with their comments on Twitter, I don't interact with them. Why? Why promote it? Like, I would rather promote like actual like good quality content and things like that. Like people that actually have like interesting takes rather than like fake bullshit like that. Or it's like, I'm just gonna say this because it's gonna rile people up. And it's every fandom. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, that's like It is a meta. The meta is partially due to the algorithm, but the algorithm is also based off of like again, what's an algorithm going to do? Well, it's going to develop in a way that that like we think would work best for the website. Well, what works best? Well, people really like drama. People really like these baity things, and it's like, yeah, so that's the issue. It's like we can blame it on the algorithm, but ultimately it's a human condition at the end of the day. Algorithm won't work, or at least won't work that way, if we don't promote that stuff. John Carter is still considered as being in recent memory. I don't think John Carter's in recent memory. I'd be willing to bet if you pulled chat, half of them would not know who John Carter is. Yeah, have you ever read Fafford and the Gray Mouser? No. Did you misspell that? Or am I like completely out of the loop here? Because at bare minimum, I've never heard of whatever that is. Disney so mismarketed John Carter. Yeah. I mean, Disney, apparently, like a lot of people just hate Disney just due to how they handle stories. Like, whenever Disney chooses to adapt a story, Disney inevitably Disneyifies it and fundamentally changes the way that it is. The Great Mouser was the fantasy series. Okay. Yeah, I can't say I've ever heard of it. I only know John Carter from the Disney movie I didn't watch, yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think it was also poorly handled because I watched the John Carter movie and even I thought it was like, this is stupid. But I think it's not that the concept was stupid. You could have made the concept work if you had done the proper setup and like explained it properly, but they didn't. And I think that is an issue. It's like you just patently are trusting that people will like understand. And it's like, no, you've got to do some legwork there. Fantasy series from Fritz Leiber made some of the tropes that are basically common now known for the first time. Interesting. Yeah, I probably some point I think like this is obviously just a casualty of like streaming all the time, but it's like I never really have any time to read anymore. I read all the time. I read chat. But like I don't actually get time to like sit down and like read books, which is sad. So it's like unless something gets adapted into like movie form or something like that, I'm just not gonna know about it, either movie or show. What's up, Cal? How's it going? You know, I could actually see that John Carter and Tarzan were written by the same person. That makes sense. I didn't know that, but like I feel like they're actually in a weird way both very similar stories. Despite existing in polar opposite biomes. Could be amazing with enough production values. Yeah, I think that's like ultimately the problem that Hollywood like has is that it is creationally bankrupt, but then even like very good stories that do exist, it's like they just never really give it the justice that it deserves. I think it's partially just who's in charge at Hollywood, who like nominates movies to be like scripted and written and put into the studios for production and stuff like that. It's like that's largely where a lot of the issue is going to be. But then even then it's like, okay, well then who directs it and who chooses to like make it into such a like shit adaptation? And then you realize it's like this is just a problem, like all around. There's so many failures at so many different levels that like a little bit it's just almost like either power or cultural issue, where it's like it's either who's in charge and running things and who they're picking, or it is just in general that like no matter who is in charge, it keeps being shit because people just have changed too much in their values. Replacement fan for my computer. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely like watch the temperature on that computer if you're gonna run it, because like I've had a very similar issue where like a fan gave out and it basically caused one of my old computers just completely burn up, and it's just not worth. It's not worth risking your entire computer if you don't have the proper cooling for it. Is that my first command code? I don't think it's my actual first, but at least we have one. Oh, right. I need to do this chat. I'm gonna roll the daily story pull. And we'll go over the event here shortly. Man, you need a lot of berserker kills. Holy crap. Like, I thought I was way closer there. An anime of Lensman? I don't think I've ever heard of Lensman. Yeah, unfortunately, like, when I was growing up, I had the traditional Catholic upbringing and stuff, and it's like, I'm not gonna say that, like, my mother was, like, super staunch and, like, oh, it's like all fantasy's the devil or anything like that. Nothing like that. Just, like, in general, I think there was a lot of, like, concern over what I was, like, consuming as a kid. And so I didn't really get to, like, branch out into, like, other, like, fantasy things until at least, like, I want to say, like, middle school was about the time I was finally able to, like, get some stuff. And even then, it was largely, like, approved of things. Like, things that, like, my parents were like, okay, he can have that. That's not bad. So, like, usually if it was something that I think was, like, popular at the time, it would have been something that got by, versus, like, I never really got to go explore a lot of, like, fantasy things as a kid. Oh, right. I didn't do the poll. In late elementary school? Yeah. I feel like they would have been really fun to read, like, growing up. My mom was scared of the WoW stories about people playing so much they died, had health issues. Sorry. Chat, there was a point where I think like shortly after, but where I quit WoW the first time was after I had 2 years time in the game. Not I played WoW for 2 years. No. I had 2 years in-game time. And that was when I was like, oh, this isn't good. I am playing this too much. Yeah, that is the ordeal call to see. definitely a nice one there. Actually, really nice artwork in general. Was Grimm's fairy tales in Old German? Wait, that was one of the first things you read? I mean, I get that they were like kind of cautionary tales for kids, but they're also really dark, aren't they? Like, then again, Germans. Oh God, what is it? Like, Germans have all sorts of like fucked up fairy tales, like designed to scare kids. Like literally, like I think Krampus is German as well, where it's like, oh yeah, instead of getting a lump of coal, you get Krampus that's gonna come to your house and kill you. It's like, what, dude? Like German parents just tried to like actually traumatize their children, I'm pretty sure. Santa's enforcer, yes. I had to beg my mom to let me have RE2. Yeah. I even like with video games, like I said, the first video game I was ever able to buy for myself was Majora's Mask. And that's both because I had saved up enough with my allowance and also because like before that point, video games that we got were always like a gift from like Christmas or something. We were not allowed to like purchase our own games. So, or like at best, it's like maybe my older brother would have gotten a game and I would have been able to play it too. It was just kind of ass in that regard. Chat. Hi. Saved up the pity. Ask me anything. How did you do it? I'm almost at 2 pities again on JP. Damn, nice. Yeah, it is nice when you like you save up for a while and then you just actually get lucky and so you're still sitting on a horde. It feels good because you feel like you have security for like if something goes wrong. Actually, I'm curious, did they even have Ptolemy event on here? No. Of course, fandom doesn't. Yeah, chat, this is when the event is supposed to occur. It'll probably be on the 15th for us. But let me throw on my black background here. Shakes fist, yes. I'll just read through that with you guys because I was going to talk about all that before, but the fact that they detailed it all out makes it easier. Okay. Sorry, one more thing. Yeah, leave it like that. Okay. Hey guys, my name's Kadroth, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the upcoming Ptolemy event for NA. Now, the Grailfront Castle of Shining Dawn and Castle of Shadow Dusk is going to basically be the actual name for the event, and it's got a social media campaign that just got announced here on Twitter. But due to that, we also kind of now know the actual timing of the event. So it felt like a proper time to actually go over it with you guys and let you guys know what you're about to get into. So this social media campaign runs through the 13th. That largely based off of how the trends have been going on in A means that we will get a live stream on the 14th. And that also then means that we will get the event on the 15th. So again, they could deviate from this, but that is probably the best guess for the actual timing, and that is pretty much how they've been operating a lot lately. So we can anticipate that that'll be how things will unfold. Now, it's just interesting because this was an event that was supposed to come to us a little bit later in October. Obviously, we're still a little bit ahead of schedule. You might be wondering why we're still ahead of schedule. Part of the reason for that is because here on the NA server, we usually celebrate Thanksgiving. So there will probably be a little bit of a shift to make room for that. So the fact that we're 10 days ahead is actually not that crazy and perfectly well within, what we would expect. Now, again, we do have the release campaign here that is going to be tied in here with the social media campaign and such. Basically, this is just going to include some login bonus rewards, some additional missions that'll be released there. And then, again, sort of other campaigns for 0 AP for story and things like that. So really nothing too much here. There's some half cost for strengthenings and interludes, 2 times FP bonus, but pretty much just you guys can expect the big thing to be that the Ember Gathering and training quests are going to be open all day for the limited duration. So you're going to have pretty much all of that there. There will be a live stream, as I already mentioned. So as we get into the proper event here, again, this one's going to be interesting. This one's not going to be like any other event that you've actually done. Calling it a Grail Front might make you think it's it's just going to be a collection of Grail Fronts. We've had events like that, Cad. No. This will not be just like that. So that's probably the simplest analog we can give you, is it would be like a collection of Grail Fronts, but this one will actually be a fully fleshed out event. There will be a story, there will be free quests, there will be a shop. So you guys can expect that realistically, this is like an event that just has a Grail Front section tacked onto it. In that regard, you can say its probable closest equivalent would have been the old Shisho Lotto event back in the day where Grail Fronts were first introduced, because that was also a similar one, just very much toned down in terms of the story. This one will have a whole lot more robustness to it in that regard. In order to participate, you are going to be required to have cleared Lost Belt 1, so make sure, Masters, if you have not done that yet, get on it. You don't have a whole lot of time to do that, basically a little under 2 weeks probably, but there is dead time right now, so there's really no excuse. Just go ahead, get the job done, and get out there and get caught up on story. In the meantime, again, this is going to be your standard 3-week event. That's just how things have been for us at this point. Kind of going through here, you guys can see there is a schedule for the release of the free quest. It's basically just going to be every single day. Obviously, the dates on JP were different. So just kind of adjust this backward towards October 15th, and you should be fine in terms of anticipating. There are a whole bunch of different event maps in here. I'm not going to get into that because I'll actually get into the proper Grail Fronts with you guys in a bit. Again, there will be a login bonus for the actual event itself. So you guys will just be getting some apples potentially, but a lot of this was tied into the way that storm pods were working at the time, which NA already got some of the quality of life. So I don't know if we'll be getting this or not. Just remains to be seen, but hopefully we do. There is event bonus for our new unit, one of which is Ptolemy, obviously. And from there, we also have 2 new 3-stars. So we're going to be getting our first low stars in the game getting added for quite a while here. And actually, I don't believe we've had... I don't even know if we've had one since then. But basically, you're going to be getting a new 3-star archer and a new 3-star saber. So definitely interesting in that regard. I'll go over all of that with you guys in other videos. And then we have several other units that are going to comprise of our lowest bonus tier here. But again, these are just bond and damage bonuses. They're not necessarily going to be like any sort of like currency related issues there. The event reward craft essence is going to be after image of a sand table. This one's going to be arts, buster, and critical damage performance, as well as NP damage performance there a little bit. And starting charge of, at least at MLB, 50%, plus 100% damage bonus for Grail Fronts. This one's not bad. It's just not necessarily going to be one that you guys are going to want to like level up and use your craft essence bombs on. So in that regard, it's good to have for the event, but after that, not so much. We will be getting some new command codes, including a 5-star one corresponding with Leonidas. Leonidas is basically going to have an increase to the party's buster performance by 10% for one turn when attacking using the engraved card. Unfortunately, it doesn't have multi-turn duration like some others do. So in that regard, it's pretty much you've got to get buster cards aligned with this for this to really take effect and give proper benefit. The 4-star one here is going to increase damage against divine enemies by 10% of the engraved card and gain 2 critical stars whenever you attack. So this one's just a good power mod against divinity. And the 3-star one's going to increase damage against wild beast enemies by 10% of the engraved cards. So just another basic power mod. Looking at the Grailfront updates here, there are going to be some changes with this one. So to start off with, we have the event maps, which is that previous Grailfronts did not come with an event map and a richer story experience. This one will. And simultaneously, there will be a day and a night mode. That's why it's kind of baked into the name of the event. But basically, there's going to be 2 versions of every Grailfront. You can do both, but you will only receive the reward for doing the first one that you choose to do. So again, if you want the extra challenge, you can definitely do both, but realistically, you only need to clear each Grailfront once. The difficulty will also change accordingly, so clearing any version of the Grailfront battle twice will not yield extra rewards, according to fandom here. If you have cleared the day version of the Grailfront, then swap to night and clear it again, no rewards will be given for the night version, basically is what they're saying. Also, it didn't really talk about the difficulty like they said there, but basically my understanding is that the night mode version of the Grailfronts are usually more difficult. So there's that. If you want the extra challenge, feel free to go with it, but it really just depends, and I wouldn't, make too big of a deal out of it. There are new victory conditions, which is that previous Grailfronts only had default victory conditions, which are defeat the enemy master and defeat all enemy servants. The Grailfront will now have story-based conditions, such as the player reaches a designated spot on the grid, or you defeat a specific enemy in order to win. You might think this is not going to be important or matter at all, but you should pay attention to it, because remember, one of the big things with the Grailfronts is you want to collect all of the chests that are on the map. So if you fulfill the victory condition before that happens, you're going to have to do the Grailfront again if you want the rewards. So keep that in mind. Don't end the fight too early. Make sure you guys get all of your chests before you do that. Story dialogues can also now occur during Grailfront battles because there's going to be an overlay on top of the battle depending on situations. And you will also have a St. Quartz command seal continue / full revive function for this, so that when the player loses after using 3 command seals or 1 St. Quartz, basically all player servants return to their starting position with full HP and 100% NP gauge. And all enemy HP remains unchanged, and all treasure box collected will remain in the loot inventory. So in other words, even if you could lose, you can choose to full revive and still keep the rewards and keep going through the Grailfront. Basically, it just talks a little bit more about what's the effects of if you already had certain things in place. We don't have to care too much about that. And you can also open up new routes in this Grail front. So some of the battles will have sort of shortcuts that you can unlock, or again, additional paths that, depending on what you do, you can actually fulfill a set of conditions to unlock a new route. So that'll be something you want to pay attention to. It may allow you to circumvent enemies. It may allow you to kind of like get behind them and get access to a chest that they were maybe guarding. So it's definitely a good idea to pay attention to these as you guys go through the Grail fronts. Now, with regards to the main quest, again, I'm not going to end up spoiling really anything here for you guys, but I am just going to say your end reward at the end of all of this will be a crystallized lore. But there also should be a grail somewhere in here. I'd have to double check. Oh, well, obviously, actually, for the grail fronts, you'll be getting a grail for that. But yes, so again, there will also be, like, with regards to the specific grail fronts, different party buffs and things. So this is one of those changes where, like, now as you guys go in, if you have multiple, like, units standing next to each other and everything, you can actually get a increase to the party's attack. So this is specific to the grail fronts. That is to say, like, 2 units standing next to each other, both will get additional, like, firepower. And this can be, I believe, also used by the enemy, but I'd have to, again, double check on that. But it's something to pay attention to and be wary of. The rewards for the grail fronts are pretty pedestrian, as always, but still nice, so definitely make sure you guys do them. I know they can be a little bit time consuming, but again, you do have 3 weeks to do this event, so nothing too much that you really got to worry about in that regard. Then with regards to the free quests, again, these are pretty much your standard free quests. They will kind of come available with the like story release schedule and things, so keep that in mind. That's where you're going to be spending all of your AP, not really on the grail fronts, but make sure you set aside some time to stay on top of the grail fronts each day so that you don't like kind of cost yourself. Demolished Cocoon will be one of our end nodes here. This one is basically going to be a 1-2-3 node, all sabers. So if you have a really good archer, you should be capable of handling this. Our end enemy here that's going to be really high health is going to be Altera, who is the incarnation of destruction at 600k there. So again, you're definitely going to be looking at needing like some pretty robust values in terms of damage output. But keep in mind the event craft essence here is a damage bonus CE, so you don't have to worry about it too much. And then your 90 plus node there should be a little bit more manageable, but basically a 2-3-1 node with all lancers. So this one, as long as you have a decent saber, should be able to handle it. The end enemy there is going to be Brynhildr at 274k. So again, anybody that can exploit any of her niches would obviously be really solid. Looking at the event shop here, I'm not going to bother reading through all of it because it usually bloats the video, but naturally you've got things in here like your crystallized lore, just kind of covering some of the really nice stuff like the ascension mats. You guys are going to have demonic flames. You're going to end up having eggs. You're going to end up having the ether photon converter from Ordeal Call 1, or as I like to call them, the D20s, and you're going to be able to have octuplet crystals, all from the gold material there. Vanguard Bracer is also going to have, so the gold also had 2 of the craft essence for the event, the after image of a sand table. With the Vanguard Bracers, your silver mat will also have 2 of them. You'll have another command code there. You'll have another crystallized lore. And then you're also going to end up having the forbidden pages, the LB5 crowns, the gunpowder from LB1. So you've still got some really, really nice rewards there. And then your bronze is going to give you the final copy of the CE, while also giving you another command code, another crystallized lore, and then all of your sort of standard like embers and things, plus basically the rainbow yarn from 5.5, the void's refuse, basically your dust and your bones as well. So also and heroic proof. So you basically get a ton of old bronze mats there. Definitely good for people that are newer starting the game to basically get all of that under control. Summoning campaigns, there's going to be 3 of them. The very first one here is going to be Ptolemy, who's going to be a new sort of switchable archer. He can switch between single target and AoE. Again, I will talk about him in a video, but this is going to be another one of those where basically Ptolemy is going to be a unit that some people will roll for, some people will skip because of upcoming units next year, or maybe like waiting for Weisky Kenshin later in the year. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he's still a very, very solid unit. I can definitely tell you guys that much, at least. You'll also have the new 3-star Sugitani Zenjubo, and Penth will actually be the 4-star on this one. Looking at the rate up craft essences, Bibliophilia is going to be your 5-star C. It's split stats, unfortunately, which is kind of sad because it does have charge per turn, NP damage up, and overcharge here. Definitely be a decent one for challenge purposes. Day and Night's going to be your 4-star, which is going to be all attack scaling. At least it's going to have arts and buster up, as well as buff removal resistance, but not really enough to actually be impactful. And your 3-star here is going to be split stats. It's going to be your adventure. It's going to grant you evasion for 1 attack, and then quicken arts up as well. Your second summoning campaign is going to be Taigong Wang. So he's going to be returning yet again. He's been a very prolific unit on banners throughout the years here. He's going to have Theseus, our new single target art saber, on this banner here with him. But again, he is 3-star, so you will be able to roll Theseus in the FP pool after the event ends. That will be something to keep in mind, is that usually new like low-star units don't go into the FP pool until the event ends, especially if they're on banner like they are here. So just keep that in mind. Theseus, at least this would be the earliest way to really get him. And then you also have Nezha here as the 4-star, same craft essences on this banner. And then campaign number 3 is going to be the return of Iskandar and Waver with both of your new 3-star units. So this is also a potentially interesting one, even though it includes older units. Particularly for those of you guys that haven't ever gotten Waver, he's definitely at least worthy of having. Not somebody, like, if you have a ton of supports, he's not somebody that you necessarily have to go out and get, but he's definitely good. And the recent buff on JP really made Waver have some really nice, like, meta niche uses now. So he's kind of back in the fold after years of kind of being out of it. So that is going to be the event in a nutshell, but we're still not done. I still got to talk to you guys a little bit about the Grail fronts. Now, there are going to basically be 9 different Grail fronts in this event. Each one is going to have its own map. Each one's going to have its own peculiarities in that regard. So just kind of looking at that, I figured it'd be a good idea to go through each one, because the rewards will be different for each one depending on whether or not you do the day or the night version of them. That is something to keep in mind. The very first version will not have a day or night version for it. The second one also will not, and the 8th and 9th ones will not have different versions. But basically, the Grail fronts for like 3 through 7 will. So you will have a lot of like different possibilities if you want to like pursue different basically different rewards for this. Now, again, the earlier Grail fronts really not going to be too difficult. Just remember there are different victory conditions, as we talked about before, so it is something to pay attention to. But just comparing, like, let's look at the 3rd Grail front here, which is the first one where you can have different rewards. This one will actually be worthy of looking at. Okay, so for the 3rd one here, we have basically in the day version, we have rewards that have seeds, we have stingers, we have rainbow yarn, and we have gunpowder in here. And then for the night version, it also has the same. Sorry, hold on. Did I click on the same one twice? Is that why? Yeah, it's like the first time I clicked on it, it's like it didn't even open at all. There we go. Okay. All right. So for the night version, you're going to end up having stakes, you're going to end up having bells, and you're going to end up having arrowheads as well as giant rings. So depending on which version you want, you might go after the daytime one for the rewards there, or the nighttime one. Remember, the nighttime ones are usually a little harder, but I mean, if it has the better rewards that you actually want, I think that's worth the effort then at that point. So to me, I think that's like, I would let the rewards dictate which version you choose to do, because that's where it's actually going to matter, in my opinion. Okay, so then for the fourth one, your rewards will be night medals for the chest. It'll be Lanugos. It'll be the LB7 sun scales, and basically your feathers for the day version. For the nighttime version for part 4, you're going to have the Tear Stones of Blood, the LB3 bells, the Serpent Jewels, as well as the other new material from Ordeal Call 1, whose name I forget, the orb-looking things. For the 5th Grail front, you're going to end up having as a reward for the daytime one, Spirit Roots, Bicorn Horns, Meteor Horseshoes, and the Daggers from LB7. And for the nighttime one, you're going to end up having Chaos Claws, Divine Wine, the 6.5 Ashes of Urns, and the Homunculus Babies as the chests in that one. For the 6th one, for daytime, you're going to have Black Beast Greased, more Sun Scales, and basically your ice as the rewards for that. And then for the nighttime version, you're going to end up with Hearts of the Foreign God, LB6 Bells, and Eternal Gears as the reward for that one. And then for the 7th one, your daytime rewards will be the Divine Spherical Veins from LB5, the shells basically for summer, and the daggers from LB7 again. Your nighttime version is instead going to have Meteor Shards, which I'm sure a lot of people will want, more of the orb material from Ordeal Call 1, and basically more Aurora Steel from LB2. And then last but not least, we'll have the 8th and the 9th version. The 8th one, like I said, is not going to have a night version for it. The 8th one is going to have a reward of mirrors, scales of fantasy, the swords or daggers, depending on how you want to look at it, from LB 6.5, and chains basically is the reward for that one. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult, so definitely watch out once you get to that one. We're going to start seeing like some of these Grail fronts actually get kind of tough. Again, I'll give you guys a little bit of pointers here at the end, but the idea behind it is just in general, you want to take your strongest units that can kind of solo things, that can survive, have good sustain and upkeep, so that they can kind of keep like grinding through all the enemy units that you're going to be facing, because some of these there will be like enemy spawns, and that's going to be something you're really going to have to watch out for. And now, why am I mentioning enemy spawns? Well, because as we get to the sort of final Grail front, there are two different versions of this. There's the Eternal Light and the King's Library version. Now, each one is just ever so slightly different for what you're going to end up facing. Or are they the same? I think they're the exact same. I think only the NPC is different. Yeah, sorry. So it's the only difference between them is going to be that that Ptolemy is going to end up being a little bit different as an NPC there. But otherwise, it will be the same regardless. So I'm going to talk to you guys about this last one because this last one's kind of the hardest one. It's going to be the one that you guys had the most trouble with. This one is a complex Grail front. Just based off of the map that you guys can see, it might strike you as like, whoa, this feels like there's a whole lot going on. Realistically speaking, the map itself is actually not that hard to manage. The issue that you're going to have with this one is that there is a boss enemy that is reasonably difficult, has multiple lives or break bars if you want to look at it that way, and also ends up having a whole lot of allies. Not only that, but each of these sort of smoky points that you guys can see will be enemy spawners, and you will have already encountered them by the time you get to this specific one. So you should know how to handle it. Basically, one of the easiest ways to deal with these spawners is to just simply put a unit on it, or to just kind of like camp it and try to kill anything that comes out of it. But if you put a unit on it, it won't spawn anything. Well, that sounds easy. What's the problem? The problem is going to be that the boss is going to do room-wide AoEs that end up taking up basically half of the map at a time. It will either do it to the left or to the right. You will get a warning of this. You will know how many turns you have to move people out of this area. But if you do not move someone out of this area, there is no survivability that can stop it from hitting you and potentially killing you. I do believe it's a one-shot. I don't remember if it's possible to live through in any way, shape, or form, like health check it or something. I don't think you can. Basically, it will go through guts. It will go through solemn defense. There's no way to actually prevent the damage. So just keep that in mind. 10,000 damage. Okay, so in theory, you could like face tank it if you really had to. But obviously, it's a Grail front. You really don't want to be taking that kind of damage to your units. So naturally, you want to get out of the way of this. But if you look at where I drew the lines there, you guys would understand that a little bit, there is obviously the entire right half of the screen when it's on the left that's free, but there's also one line along the left side that will also be free. So keep that in mind. You can move to either side to get out of the way of it, and that can actually be used to your advantage for things like blocking the spawners. What you won't be able to do is you won't be able to stand on the middle spawner to try and block it. So that's going to be something you're going to have to pay attention to. Similarly, if it's over to the right, it's going to be something like that. So you're going to have a whole lot of like area coverage from this AoE. You really don't want to get hit by it. And the boss is just going to kind of keep doing this every couple of turns. So you're going to have to manage a whole bunch of issues here. You're going to have to like kill off all the enemies. You're going to have to make sure you're not standing on a bad square where you're maybe going to be taking damage, like in the case of the fire enemies. And you're going to have to be able to stop the spawners. How I handled it, and how a lot of you kind of can handle it, is basically by, obviously, again, loading up some of your best units. Party cost is actually pretty generous on this one compared to some of the other ones where you maybe only have like 50 or 60 party cost. So it definitely can be a concern. But one of the ways that I did it is I actually took the NPC Ptolemy and the NPC Sugitani Zenjobu, and I basically ran them both towards the middle spawner and had them babysit it. And then I had both of those two NPCs flip-flop to either side of the spawner or just sit on it, blocking it from spawning it until the dragon's AoE was right about to go off, then move them out of the way, let it go off, and then reblock it. Now, when that happens, you will get a spawn because you won't be blocking it for a turn, but that will make it a lot more manageable. So that's going to be your first kind of goal here, is to get to the spawners and to plug them with a unit, so that way you don't have the enemy forces replenishing. Okay, from there, again, the enemies will kind of move around the map. They will kind of come after you, so be careful. You're not just gonna be able to necessarily get to it, but like, for instance, with your saber right here on the right, you can absolutely, on the starting turn, just kind of bum rush the spawner. Though keep in mind, you're going to have a lot of enemies trying to immediately collapse on you. So make sure you have somebody that can handle that kind of pressure. Or try to go and grab the heal or something else, maybe the guts, to help you out. So obviously there's a whole lot of things that are still in your favor. All of your spawn points are on the south side of the map here. Definitely every single class is represented except basically some of the extra classes. You do at least have one extra node though. So if you have a really powerful extra class unit, you can still slot them in here and help you out. Now, that's going to be how you're going to handle a bunch of these, but obviously there's still some kind of mini boss type enemies, which are going to be these saber enemies here. They're definitely a little bit more precarious. They have a particular gimmick where I believe if you kill one of them, it is going to give a defense up for 5 turns to the other one. But otherwise, realistically speaking, you need to be careful about fighting them. And the reason why is going to be because if they kill off one of your units, even if your unit had another life left, if they're the one that kills it, your unit's dead. You will not get the second life. So you kind of need to make sure that you kill them as fast as possible when you do encounter them, so that they don't have the opportunity to kind of clap you back and basically end up making you lose a unit. So to me, that's going to be your short-term goal. It's going to be plug the spawners, deal with the mini boss type units, and clean up the map. From there, it becomes very manageable. Because what you then are going to do once everything else is handled is then you're going to go after the boss enemy. The boss enemy is a pretender. So when it is hitting you, the pretender will have normal pretender class advantages against you. So taking units that are either counter or neutral to it would be best. However, when you are hitting the pretender, doesn't matter what unit you bring, it will deal 2 times effective damage. So that much is in your benefit. That being said, when you pop its first life bar, you won't be able to attack it for at least 3 turns. That's something else you're going to want to factor in. It may be best to kind of clean things up a bit, smack its health bar down, wait out the 3 turns by maybe cleaning up what's left. But again, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is going to be a little bit of an account check to make sure you guys have good units and stuff set up. But ultimately, it's really actually not that hard of a Grail front. A lot of it's just going to be determining how you guys handle the sort of side objectives / mini objectives of the spawner of the mini bosses. If you can get those under control, the rest of this will actually just not be that hard. So again, keep that in mind, and I think you guys will be successful, and you guys should be able to get through basically the hardest Grail front to date. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys for the next video. Again, if you like this one, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, have a good time with the Grail fronts, and happy hunting. Good luck on all of your rolls. Later. That was super cringe at the end. So what happens if the master gets hit by the breath? Don't get hit. It's pretty easy to kind of shove the master in a corner. And as long as they're reasonably protected. So what I did is I shoved the master over on the right side. It was not bad. Having the 2 archers in the back also makes sense thematically. Well, it's just really good for both Ptolemy and Zinjobu, because a lot of the things that are going to be spawning here, if I remember correctly, are just going to be saber enemies. What spawns out of the spawners are just these fodder purple enemies. Not the red enemies here. Those 2 are your mini bosses, but the purple enemies will be your fodder. So, but again, like I said, this was kind of a complex event, and it's why I took a little bit of extra time here to record for this one. Because specifically this one, people were malding about this final Grail front, that it was not good. So I get it. For someone like me that plays strategy games, this grow front was not hard. For people that are maybe like not the biggest like turn-based or strategy type of player, I can easily see how people would find this frustrating. I'm up for the challenge. I mean, you should be now. Just gave you the solution. Okay, though, chat. You're gonna end the FGO portion of the stream here. And we are going to convert. Give me 1 minute just to flip the capture card over. Basically gotta flip some plugs around. Okay, sorry about that. Wait, is it actually... Okay. Hello, chat. What is this mashup? Did you train your Yotei style? No. I didn't even power off my PlayStation. It just went to sleep. So you guys get the exact place I left off at, which was right as we had repaired this bridge. And I think, at least for right now, I've fixed... Oh, let me move the mouse. I've fixed my my stick drift issue, at least temporarily. What's this? Oh, it's a sign. Ishikari Plains, Cemetery, Yotei Shadow Inn, Gambling Den. Definitely gonna need to do something for the map a little bit. I feel like there was a way to like clear out portions of the map before. I know I can use... I know I can use my like binoculars basically. Oops. I love that you can just like swipe on the trackpad to make the wind flow. I was gonna say, please don't make me do it at that camera angle. Got him!
平気か害は加えねえよどこへ行くんだ
Yeah, so far I'm enjoying my time with the game. It definitely plays like the first one does. I've got to get the parry timing down again because I'm still pretty sloppy with it, but oh shit. I hit circle. I keep thinking circle is the gather button and it's not. I also like the whole camping thing when you start a fire. Yeah, I've got to like get used to that because it's definitely a change from the first game, but it's not bad. I think it's aesthetic. Point. Snake's assassin. See, this is me. And that's the second bounty for myself I've picked up. Oh, damn it. Oh. I don't know why, like, on my screen, I was thinking that was like a cabinet, not like a little door to go under. Hello, game. Please give prompt. Thank you. I feel like a lot of modern games are having that issue where, like, it just doesn't give you the prompt if you're in the area. Sake jar to distract an enemy. Oh. He's not a villain. Oops. Can I put the weapon away? How do I put the weapon away?
馬屋の主が好んでてめえの馬を野に放つとはな。
斎藤の手に渡るくらいなら逃がしてやりたい。
You gotta hunt yourself now? Yeah.
松前との戦に備えて馬がいるらしい。できる限り抗ってきたんだが。馬屋を探せ。石膏から知らせがあった。いかん。もう来やがった。
隠れる。
馬はまだ残ってるか。罰を与えてやらなくてはな。くまなく探せ。焼き払っても構わんぞ。
Instead of assassinating, I'm just gonna give him a standoff. Oh shit, I forgot the block button. Game. Jesus, dude. Dude, I'm blocking that and it's still not giving it to me. Camera, what was that? Why did you just suddenly switch? Hey, what? Dude, the gap closers that some of these dudes do is, like, actually fucking insane. Okay, we got him dead at least. No, game, please target him! God, dude. There, Jesus, dude.
出てきていいぞ。
Lethal affects both sides, yeah. How does it work for boss fights, though? Like, do you just legitimately one-shot bosses? Because if so, not gonna lie, kind of nice. That being said, I'm sure they become like blocking and parrying fiends. Wait, what is this? I feel like that didn't animate.
本に切る。おかしな世になっちまったよ。ああ、困ったもんだ。
馬探しを手伝ってやろうか。
いや、十分世話になった。
遠慮するな。
昔はみんなで支え合ってた。あの馬屋も刀鍛冶が金を出してくれてな。
I do wish this was in mainland Japan, but at least like Hokkaido is very scenic.
剣吾への礼儀、そして馬のためだ。
Wait, return to ally? Do I have to actually like go to him? Where are we going, buddy? She cooked.
Yo. 何かと面倒を見てやってるのに逃げ出しやがって。
気をもむな。見つけてやる。ちょこちょこしてる僕らを追いかけるのはいささか慣れてるだわ。
おとも楽しんでるずら。
そうだろうとも。
すぐ連れ戻してくるわ。来いやつ。見てみろ。
Ah, yes, poop.
新しい馬糞だ。
Fresh poop.
この馬どもはここで水を飲んだんだな。泥に残った足跡をたどるぞ。
Yeah, must be awesome to be a horse and just be able to like poop wherever you want.
跡が途切れてら。
逆の道探した方がいい。
Like, oh, you're just standing there, you just let her rip. Wait, that's... I'm having a flashback, but the guy I traveled here with is here as well.
This 鋭いな。腹すかせてただ。ほっとくとこの辺りの花が食い尽くされちまうかもな。また育つよう呉服を置こう。すぐにたくさんの花が咲くぞ。
Okay.
あつどうだ。ここらでいいか。
うん、でもクワマどもが見つかんない。
こん近くにいるはずだわ。口笛
Get an adult diaper? True.
聞こえてねえようだな。高いところいかだ。
口笛が下手だからずら。
もっと励めばいいだけだ。ここのボラだ。来い。
Bro, what? Bro, what are you, a monkey? Like, what? I'm a kid. I can't. Okay, I was gonna say, it's like...
十分高いはず。 吹いてみろ。
俺にはできん。無理すら。
難しいからって諦めていいってわけじゃねえぞ。自分を信じろ、アツ。
やってみる。
見ろ、木立で何か動いた。
馬だ。見っけた。
自分を信じたからだ。ほら、子馬どものところへ行こ
う。十兵衛に聞かせたら羨ましがれるな。
う。意地悪言うな。岡を手伝ってるだ。
Yeah, Jubei's dead.
なかなかの口笛だったぞ。感謝してもしきれね
ほんじゃいつか馬を一頭くれよし。
こら、失礼だぞ。
どういで見っけたのは俺たちじゃんけ。
え。こいつらはまだ小さい。お前が大きくなって音からのお許しをもらえば考えよう。
So I guess this is just a younger version of the stableman. Yeah, I was gonna say they should have made him gray or something.
花に惹かれちまってな。でもどうしてケンゴの娘か。
馬をもらう約束だ。
やるとは言ってないぞ。口笛うまくなったか。弟励んだか。ケンゴが金を貯めてたのは家業のために入り用だったからじゃない。お前に馬を買うためだ。やる。
Choose a horse.
あの疲れた馬か。うちのは蝦夷地一の名馬だ。見てやってくれ。気に入ったやつがいたら
Dapple horse.
馬は俺が
Black
使ろう。
horse. White horse. Hmm.
黒毛、音のほどの墨のようだ。てめえも世話しねえな。うまくやってきたが、このまま来るか、それとも休みたいか。
So this is my horse. Yes.
ありがたい申し出だが、まだこいつを手放すつもりはない。
優しい主に拾ってもらったんだな。名は何という。
七しだ。イェイ、なんて呼んでほしい。
Gonna call you horse. Homura. Mochizuki. Shimaki. I feel like the other two are kind of bad, so we're just gonna go with Homura.
村。
炎は命をつなぐもの。魚しがたくはあるが。互いの身を守り合え。達者でな。
I'm just sad I can't name him Horsey McHorseface. Damn, no Mochizuki? No. You have unlocked a new die kit. View. Yeah, not gonna lie though, I feel like that one just looks better. I also like how I went up to this dude, told him he owed me a horse, and then, then just didn't take a horse. Oh, wait, hold on. I was gonna say, there.
音のご夫、昔ここに置いたな。
Ah, hot spring. Let's go. To be fair, chat, the first game we did get to see Jin's ass as well.
Yoteiさん、母なる山。毎朝いつも拝んでたな。十兵衛と麓を駆け回っては いついただきに行けるか語り合った。また目にできてよかった。
Nice. I don't remember if that's a permanent health increase or if that's just temporary. Arm of Thoughtful Restoration. Some charms are upgradable. Complete a charm's challenge to increase its power. Okay. So it's basically the number of hot springs I visit. Gain a minor increase to maximum health. Sweet. Charm of Bountiful Harvest. Increase the amount of wood, flowers, and plants gained with collecting them? Sure. Huh. Horse, how? Got him. What? God, fucking spear wielders, man. Okay, looks like this is where I need to go.
もし半兵衛が生きてるなら、何としても二頭を伝授してもらわねえと。畜生、踏み抜いちまった。
Well, I guess I have a grappling hook. It's news to me. Spears have much better reach, yeah, clearly.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it's a Heckenborker.
この道でいいようだ。
Man, this guy was an asshole with traps.
まだ先は長そうだ。
Am I just gonna like appear on the top of the mountain? I will say they get the feel, the aesthetic of the game so well. And to a large degree, it does really like feel like you're in Japan. At least at times. Okay. That must not be the way up. But not me, because I'm here for mushrooms. Picking mushrooms grants bonus spirit and a random minor perk for a full day. Nice. My god, dude. Feels like I'm trying to track down the Viet Cong. I played last time myself, still haven't finished. Yeah, this is really good for me. To me, the story of the first game is where it's really good. And the ending is really nice as well. I think it's very fitting for the game. Eel, sweet. Swear to God, if there's another trap up here.
これが隠れ家かよ。まるで納屋じゃねえか。二頭の達人の家とは思えねえな。
Search for sign. Hello? Housekeeping?
あの刀はまだ持っていたのか。
Well, now I'm gonna die.
一本触れるでない。
半兵衛。
よくぞここまでたどり着いたな。褒美だ。手早く殺してやる。
剣吾という火事が作った刀だな。
それがどうした？
俺の父だ。
お主、松か。
圧だ。
死んだはずでは。
Is
he missing an arm?
殴られた。弟たちは二頭の憲法を伝授してくれ。仇を討ちたいんだ。教えを受けるまで動かねえぞ。
How is he a dual katana master if he's missing an arm? Like, I get it's like, oh, he used to be one and he's gonna teach us, but like, how is he gonna instruct us without his second arm? This is some Mr. Miyagi shit here.
あれからもう16都市だ。どうして今さら戻ってきた？
本土じゃ浪人はもう用なしだ。だがここは違うだろう。俺も戦を経て十分強くなった。
その腕で勝てるほど斎藤はか弱くないぞ。
だからこうして教えを請うてる。斎藤と切り合ったてめえに。
お主も腕をなくしたようだな。さっさと本土に戻れ。予定6人衆に見つかるぞ。
蛇はすでに叩き伏せて他の連中に憎しみを見せた。
Oh, he'll actually move faster. Sweet.
Kengoの娘とあらば試してやるとしよう。そこに稽古用の刀がある。取れ。今は左の腕が弱い。筋を鍛えて腕力を上げ、身軽になれ。よいな。
ふらつきそうだが。
鍛錬するほかない。俺、一歩下がれ。始めるぞ。
何を？
何かな？技を授かりたいのだろう。黙って炭を切れ。いいぞ、手早く。そんな動きで蛇を切ったというのか。酒を飲んでいたな。
I can't tell if I can even go faster than that.
で、
これまで死なずに済んだのは
Can't
その
you make
強情
traps
さゆ
with
え
only
か。
one arm? True.
どうする？教えるのか？
なぜわしが？
音はてめえの刀を打ちながらいろいろ話をしてくれた。大胆不敵で弱きを助ける剣士だとな。
そこまで大層な男だった覚えはないがな。
そうなってくれ。まだ間に合う。
夜明けと共に始めるぞ。お主はここで眠れ。起きろ。腕の具合はどうだ？痛みは動くか？
ああ、平気だ。
味わっておけ。今のうちだけだ。まずは左の腕を鍛える。右と同じくらい強くせねば。
また炭を投げんのか？
いや、こいつを切る。さあ始めろ。左腕だけだ。はよ切れ。
Wait, oh god, they included mouse or like the trigger click? Oh no. Please don't add more. There we go. God. No! Up, down, right, L3 again. How the fuck am I supposed to do this one? Holy shit! Is that a wrong button? Is it up, down, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it is, Hanbei.
用意しておいた竹が尽きたな。明日のために備えねば。ナタを使え。左の腕だけで。 さぞ痛むだろう。
斎藤との勝負はどうだったんだ。
勝ち負けにとらわれるな。考えるべきは斎藤のことだけ。あやつの強みは武器の腕前だけではない。侍の心をよく知っていることだ。
仲間を束ねてここを制する気だろう。
制するのではなく、幕府から離れた自由の土地にするつもりだ。
信じてるのか。
信じている。大勢がな。それがあやつの力だ。心をつかまれてしまう。
どんな力があろうとも身内への仕打ちを俺は忘れね
え。その心を手放すな。あやつに対する鎧になる。今は休め。稽古は夜明けに始めるぞ。ほれ、朝毛だ。
なんだこれ。
竹の煮汁。そう知る力があれば食う力もある。はよ食え。さあ始めるぞ。二人の腕が強くなったな。
Oh, come on. You're not going to let me just spin it around? Okay.
手が崩れなくなった。どんなに力んでもだ。
L1 and L3 again. Wait, really? Huh? Ugh. Oh, come on, dude. Yes! Yes, it does! No, it won't! Give me an easier sequence! It's like you can't physically manipulate it that fast.
今宵は静かだな。
ここから俺の家が見える。
そうだな。お主が襲われたあの夜、燃えるイチョウを見ていた。ここでただ動かずに。
And now you only have one arm.
てめえに何ができた。俺が悪い。
How is it your fault? Did you lead them to your house?
アツ、うちが見えるとこにいんきゃダメずら。
あっちのキノコは取り尽くしただわ。一番うめえのはこの
Oh my god, she did, didn't she?
おかわらに知られちもうぞ。
Hey, Lord Saito, come visit my family! Oh no, he killed my family! Are you stealing my mushrooms?
よし。もう十分ずら。
多い方がおかんは喜ぶろ。
だな。じゃあもう少しやるけ。俺キノコは好きくね。
近くにイカだ。
バカこくな。狼だぞ。
だからずら。しゃがんでろし、草が多いになるさ。
音に怒られんぞ。
もしあの牙で腕噛まれたらどうなるずらな。
怖え子一丁し。
Is this where Jubei dies?
見られちまったか。
怖がっちゃし。噛みつけしんから。
Damn. I was kind of hoping.
獣は払ったぞ、お子供。運が良かったな。
稲妻みてえな音だった。
またやってくれ。
Oh my god. She really is the reason her whole family died.
刀を持ってる。
それ研いでやろっか。音が火事さ。
火事だと？
剣吾っていうさ、知ってるろ？
もちろんだ。
音に合わせてやるさ。ただ狼のことは秘密。
ああ、他言はせんよ。
こっち。
Oh my god.
アツ、キノコまだ取ってねえらに。
道すがら取りゃいいら。
わしも手伝えばそれだけ早く済むぞ。わしも手伝えばそれだけ早く済むぞ。
広がるけ。アツ、こりゃ俺のキノコだわ。
No! No!
二人ともキノコ取りの名人だな。音も
Those are mine. I saw them
お
first.
母の方が草に詳しいけんど。
まだ足んねえな。もっと探すぞ。まだ足んねえな。もっと探すぞ。まだ足んねえな。もっと探すぞ。おじさんは侍系？
わしがそう見えるか？
見える。
わしの家は長篠の戦で滅びた。蝦夷地が今の故郷だ。よし、いいことを教えてやろう。ほれ坊主、手を貸してくれ。
うんとあるじゃんけ。こんだけありゃお母が喜ば。
木の下にあるって知ってたわけ？
隙原は学びを授けてくれるものだ。
アツはいつも好き腹だ。
ではいつも学んでおるのだな。
ここを抜けたら俺んちさ。
おお、そうか。
Is Saito gonna be her actual father or some bullshit? Like, I really hope they don't pull that trope.
イチョウがあるら。あっこが家。
羊蹄山に抱かれておるようだな。
あとちっとだ。
思いがけず楽しい時になった。終わるのが名残惜しい。
キノコ取りしてくれたし、うちで夕飯食ってけし、お礼だ。
Huh, got dark all of a sudden. Foreshadowing, literally.
狼もいただよ。
てめえ。
狼だ侍だ言って肝心のキノコはどうしたで？
案ずるな。たっぷりと取ってあるぞ。なんとも良い家ではないか。
おまんとうち中兵で。
待て待て。それがかつての友への礼儀か？
Oh shit.
もうではねえわ。
では主だ。
お家は滅びた。斎藤様も出奔しつら。
どの口が言っている？おまんら、音はふぬけだ。己の主をしてさらに他の者までそそのかしおった。
村を襲ったじゃんけ。
飢え死ねというか。幾人が上にあえいでいた。いくつの家が滅んだ。己がぬくぬくと過ごす間に。
俺の命ならやるわ。こいつら見逃しちゃってくれよ。
見せしめがいるだろう。
バカ。
音。
Damn. Saito is kind of an asshole. But also, damn, she really is responsible. I mean, I'm sure he would have found the house anyways, but... I blame Junpei. Yes. It's all Junpei's fault. Again. Easy. This game knew what it was doing. Nice. Now what can I do with that?
斎藤はあらゆる武具の達人。槍を構えられたら素早く二刀で立ち向かうがいい。
刀を構えられたらどうする？
お主も刀だ。試してみるか。刀を獲物とする相手にはどの武具で戦う？諸手を使わねば刀に力で負けてしまうぞ。では相手が槍を持っていたらどうする？よろしい。二刀であれば槍に勝てるぞ。来い、免許開伝を祝ってやる。
Chat, I am now Musashi.
こんな山の上まで酒を運んだのか？
罠にかかったアホから奪ったものだ。おかげで酒には困らん。
Steals sake from people that fall into his
どこへ逃げ
traps.
ようといずれ見つかる。だがここなら血のりを生かせるだろう。待て、煙だ。ようやく隠れ道を見つけたか。
手厚くもてなしてやる。
Hey, bro. I don't know if it's the difficulty level or they've just changed something with this game where like enemies will just kind of like spam you. 'Cause I feel like that wasn't really a thing with the last game. Hey, what? Dude, what? Like, I block it and it's like, no, you didn't. Damn, look at that dual katana action there. Hey, bro! Like, it's the double stab that always gets me. I trust my training. I can't dodge something I can't see. What? Simply thank you for the 41. Appreciate it, man. God, I have to go through the whole thing again, too. Okay, I'm getting better at that. Yeah, I'm aware, and I tried to switch to it, but the game told me no. Bro, what was that? Was that a get down, Mr. President? Stop! Like, the game won't let you get away from someone. I don't know how I'm supposed to handle that. It's like there's easily enough room, but it's like, no, you're locked in. And then he just doesn't attack there. What? Fucking kill me, dude. Jesus Christ. Like, the game actually debates you on this difficulty mode, I think it is. It's like that enemy just basically did a feint. Twice. Okay, that was cool. I wait for him to finish his flourish. He still hits me. Hey, bro. How do you go into camera mode? I clearly pressed down. Okay, yeah, come up. Dude. Hey, bro! Come on! Game! How? How are these controls so fucking bad compared to the first game where this shit didn't happen? I actually wish I could unmap this shit. I don't give a rat's ass about camera mode. Why is it on a hot bar with actual combat skills? Like, what? Didn't switch. Dude, no, there cannot be more. There cannot be more of these. Thank God. Jesus, dude. That was just annoying. I mean, the game, I definitely have it on harder difficulty, so I know, like, that's going to be a factor. I am so sick and tired of fighting the game's control scheme, though. Part of that was the stick drift with the first stream, but this time it's like, how many times have I got to accidentally trigger camera mode because it's next to my heel? Whoever designed that is just stupid.
わしが賞金稼ぎであったこともう忘れたか
腐っちゃいねえな共にサイトを切ろう
また腕をなくせと
俺は腕一本じゃ済まねえな
Because it's like, it's also D-pad mapped, so if I'm even slightly pushing it to like one of the edges, it also thinks I selected camera mode or called my horse.
あの日起きたことだがお主はわらべだったのだ囚われてはならんぞ
世話になったな
Well, at least he taught us the thing. I'll probably never get a PS5 due to the controller. Easily the worst controller I've ever used. And I was looking up a ton of stuff on how to fix the stick drift. I am not alone. Apparently, like, there are plenty of people out there that they're like, oh, I've had my PlayStation 5 for 4 years. And I'm on my 4th controller. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, holy crap. That is bad quality. Like, it's not even as random as I thought. And apparently it's happening to like everyone. And the only way to fix it is to either disassemble your controller all the way or get a new one. Yep. I don't have my... Wait, why don't I have my shamisen? Any shop for video game controllers? There's no like aftermarket controllers for PlayStation, unfortunately, because it's got too much proprietary technology in it, which is on purpose. Bad about it. Couldn't you pick up arrows in the old game, chat? I'm not misremembering that, right? Saito left supplies for those in need. I think I still have my PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 is what I use mostly. I only am using PlayStation 5 here because I have to. Because it is a PlayStation 5 game. If not, I would not be using it. It's like I'm not going to throw it out because of that reason, but I really just don't want to use it. In that regard, low-key can't wait for PlayStation 6. And then, like, hopefully it's a better, like, setup than the PlayStation 5, and I'm able to, like, play all the PlayStation 5 stuff on it. So I don't have to keep using the PlayStation 5 controller. I have so much bamboo and I have no idea what to do with it. Hey, yo. I thought I'd be a fan of the masks, but at least the masks I have so far I'm not really a fan of. Maple wood. Upgrade bows. Okay. Is it just me, or is it getting difficult to see out here? Is 6,000 plus more. Oh, I would not be at all surprised to see a console go for 1,000. One, because they kind of have to catch up to computer tech. Two, because of inflation. And three, because I think they'll start comparing themselves to like the really expensive phones and stuff like that. And I think you'll see it be a thing. Yotei. Blue flowered cemetery. Oh shit. Against Clan Sugaru, death to Clan Iguchi.
聞いたことがある。本土で多くの敵を作ってた。また侍のムクロ。カラスの餌だ。さっきと同じだな。なんだこれは。目元に粉がついてる。書き付けが残されてる。津軽家か。江口家の領主を闇討ちにして滅ぼされたはず。
おい、お前もカラスの現像？
探してるが。
それは捨ておけん。奴の首はわしのものだ。
悪いが譲らねえ。
See, like, a lot of the time I'm having to, like, claw finger the grip, and I hit it, and it's like, no, you were slightly tilted to the side, so therefore it gave you that. Anyone else? Euler? Anyone? Hydrangea. Yeah, I get it. Just trying to check over here, game, to see if you're hiding anything from me. Wait, was that water? No. I was gonna say, how the heck am I supposed to get out of here otherwise? Okay, so there's dead body there, dead body there. I guess we just keep going up. Oh, yo, shrine? There's gonna be a fight here. I know there's gonna be a fight. Yep.
狙いは拙者の首か。
そうだ。
江口家は拙者の兄弟を殺し、ムクロを打ち捨てた。そしてカラスの餌にしおったのだ。拙者も同じことをしたまで。
江口家の話は本土で聞いたことがある。漁師が闇討ちにあったともっぱらの噂だった。てめえら津軽家の仕業だろう。
あやつも一族老頭も死んで当然。
そうかもな。だがあいにく俺は賞金首を打つだけだ。
ならば貴様もカラスにくれてやろう。
I prefer the PlayStation controller layout, but the PlayStation 5 controller is the only PlayStation controller I've ever disliked. Like, at least in terms of its grip scheme. Like, it feels to me like they tried to be more like an Xbox controller, and I dislike it. Because I'm like, if I wanted that, I'd go get an Xbox. I don't have, like, any healing going into this. This is just... Ah, dude, what? Did you just pocket? What was that? I'm surprised he can block the EI like that. Bro, what? I mean, I blocked that, but sure, whatever. Oh, fuck off, game. Game! Why did you switch me back to single katana? Such bullshit. And then he switches, like he hot swapped on the fly. Yeah, I can't get out of it. And now I'm back in dual katana. What? Alright, bro. I was already locked into that animation. He got a cancel on me. You're supposed to switch! Like, what? Stop, game. Like, I'm not pressing the fucking pause button at all. What the hell is wrong with this controller? I pressed that, game. That's bullshit, and you know it. I was already headed into the animation. And then, like, again, the AI spams it before you can even hit the fucking button. Like, I don't feel like he's that hard. I'm just really hating, like, how this is all happening now in this game. Bro, what? He is supposed to switch to spear, and he doesn't do it, and he just counters me. What? And then none of my attacks get blocked there. None of them.
兄弟の恨みを晴らさねば。
Fuck you.
行け、兄弟の元へ。
It's weird because they're like, oh, don't use dual swords against a katana user, and I'm like, it works, honestly.
おい、お前。
Oh my god.
お前もカラスの現像。
Do not make me fight these people.
あの首はわしのもの。
Fucking hate these people. Blinding powder. What? Game is so much more difficult than it needed to be due to how it controls. I'm not even sure it's like the actual like game controls and not my controller. But I do think like certain things like the camera mode are just like that's an issue with the game. Like they have it on the D-pad. D-pads are notorious for that, and it's just not smart to put it there. Like just put it in a menu. Everyone would be fine. But they had to put it on like a hot button so you can do it immediately. And now I can finally get a skill. I don't even have Force Spirit to do that. I think Perfect Dodge is probably still the best skill here. Because that will be useful for like all fights. Now I have an actual hat. Oh, that was not the place I was headed towards. With both you and the enemy spamming attack. I mean, I'm going to say to a degree it's fine. Like, I expect a boss to be hard, right? The issue I was having there is, like, it was pretty clear after, like he had phases, right? And he was supposed to transition, and then he just wouldn't, and he would pull a move that, like, I was trying to preempt him, but I could not because of that. Ow, what? What? No fucking way you go to sword and board.
けだ。
Damn right I win.
話しな。斎藤の手下どもはどこにいやがる。
奪い取った陣下にいる。今や我らの砦だ。
とっとと失せな。
Damn, bro's still crawling. Bro's still going. Not my horse. Traveler's maps? Secret locations? Huh? Yeah, this is the second hardest game mode. It's not lethal, but it's right under that. White Dye House.
あらまあ、ようこそ。まるで死神のよう。
やぶから棒になんだ。
着物に滲んだ血の跡、洗っても落ちないでしょ。死と一つになるには誠の色を引き出さなくては。それが白染め屋の習わし。素材さえあれば白く染め上げてあげましょう。清らかな死を思わせる色に。
Okay, sorry about that, chat. I don't like that you have to have discovered the armor first. It does look a lot better.
どうぞこちらを。
Taika.
それでは。
Huh. Set up camp and they will visit you. Interesting. Okay. Ounce into danger, rip it apart. Cat hasn't had enough samurai this week? Apparently not. Is this like a camp down here? All of golden birds. Okay. Where did it go? So I guess this one's more bird than foxes. So I think this is the fox equivalent. Why don't you dare fly off? There are foxes. Yeah, that was not bad. They're watching me. Ah, damn. What? There we go. I just like that they're sitting there hopping. It's great. Okay, so you have the outcrop technique over there or something. All right, chat. I actually think this is a good stopping point, and I have something I gotta get to. So I'm gonna end it here. I know it's a couple minutes early. I may be streaming tomorrow. I may not. It'll depend. So just stay tuned. Let me see who all is on. If there's anybody I can show some love. Yeah. I see Miss Ivy on. I'm gonna send you guys her way. She's doing some just chatting. And again, I don't know when I'll be back. At minimum, we have D&D Sunday, so I will see you guys for that. Again, thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for all the support. And go give Miss Ivy my love. Have a good weekend if I don't get to see you. Good night.